Ladies and gentlemen, I have some very unfortunate news. I've been suffering from a lot of withdrawal and depression due to the fact that the 2XKO alpha test just ended recently, and you know, I'm really feeling some type of way because this game was chaotic, crack even. I want to just put this into perspective for those who do not know this. We haven't had a tag fighter in nearly 5 years, since 2019. That was when Power Rangers Battle of the Grid dropped. This feeling that I'm getting myself back into, it made me reminisce of like older tag fighters that came around that time. So instead of taking that sadness and depression into nothing, let's put into this damn review I'm about to go ahead and cook up for y'all. So check this out. You take League of Legends characters and you put them in a 2v2 tag fighter made by people who love Marvel vs. Capcom, fighters, BB tag, and just tag fighters in general. Oh, and Guilty Gear, I forgot to mention that as well. I want y'all to know what y'all setting yourself up for. Now, this game was aimed towards non-fighting game players and fighting game players. It definitely feels more one-sided towards the FGC than actual new players. This is not a beginner-friendly fighting game, but I'll digress. We'll talk more about that later. Now, the overall package for this alpha test is pretty fuego. Add a rollback netcode, crossplay, public and private lobbies. You have a training mode. You also have a tutorial mode. You have your dailies, your weekly challenges. There's also 6 playable characters that you can use throughout this alpha test. And it lasted for at least around, what, 11 to 13 days. It lasted for a good while. Now, with that out the way, let's talk about my gameplay experience. This is a weird ass control scheme. In this game, there are no motion inputs. For your special moves, you will have to use your left and right bumper, since I use D-pad. And in order to get your special inputs out, you just hold the direction and you hit the special buttons. So you just special 1 and special 2. This game is a 5-button fighter. You have your light, medium, heavy, and then you got your special 1 and your special 2. 6 if you technically count the tag button, but I have never played a tag fighter that had me use 5 buttons. It's definitely weird because most of them either range from 3 to 4. It's definitely an adjustment. I don't necessarily hate it. I got used to it pretty quick, but I can see it be a little overwhelming to an extent. The biggest thing I feel like they kind of need to fix is having a more adjustable control scheme. It took me like an hour just to fix my controls. There was even a small glitch here and there because I had to shut down some of my like Steam settings just to get my controller to work. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the system mechanics. Oh boy, there is a lot of them, and we're gonna talk about all of them for the most part, or as much as I can. So the fuse system alters your gameplay quite a bit. So you have the pulse, which is the auto combo fuse. You have fury, which is kind of like a combat fuse, which unlocks once you hit 40% health, a lot more damage, and you also have a dash cancel. Double assist, which allows you to throw your assist up to 2 times mid-sequence. You have double down, which is essentially DACs or delayed hyper combos if y'all play Marvel, or for people who play fighters and cross tag. Okay, let me throw this level 1 and I'm gonna also get my tag partner to also throw a level 1. And then you have the freestyle mechanic, which allows you to do up to 3 handshake tags, if I'm not mistaken, at once. I like the concept of the fuse system. I just think some of them don't need to exist. I don't think pulse should exist at all. I think this should be a control scheme, like a simple mode almost, or kind of like a modern mode, how like Street Fighter has it. Same with DHCs. There is not one tag fighter that I've played where you cannot DHC. I think it's weird. You literally taking away an entire system mechanic that most tag fighters have and just separate it to a fuse. I can understand mechanics like fury, double assist, perfectly fine. Freestyle, for the most part, those 3 fuses in particular are fine. That's just me. Now, in terms of movement, surprisingly enough, I do like the movement in this game. It's definitely slower than your average tag fighter. You know, you have your forward and back dashes, there's a run, there's a super jump, and hell, some characters even have a short hop or a air dash depending on what character that you play. And there's even wave dashing in this game. When we get to offensive mechanics, you know, you got your normals, you got your launchers, you have your unique normals. There's even a thing to where I think it's called critical strikes, which essentially you hold down your heavy button and it has armor to it and it makes you plus. And again, there's like even an anti-air button and cross up buttons, and there's even a throw button in this game. You know, your average fighting game offensive mechanics. Now things get interesting when we go to the tag mechanics. Handshake tag, I love this system mechanics simply because it's really just the change mechanic in BB tag. Of course, there's assist tags, which there are two versions of. You can either do the left version or the right version. There are tag launchers, there's even charge assist. So in other words, you can hold your assist button and the assist can travel further to the opponent, which creates a lot of crazy situations. And there is the last stand mechanic. Happens whenever you down to one character and you're around 50% health. Think about it as like a strong, powerful final attack, essentially a comeback mechanic. Now when we get to the defensive mechanics, surprisingly enough, there's a good bit. There is a push block mechanic in this game that costs 1 meter. There is a burst, of course. There's a get up option, which is kind of like a DP to an extent. It is a reversal. There's a retreating guard, and there is a parry system. There's a low parry in this game, and there's a standing parry. So when you get a successful parry, because parries cost 1 bar, you gain that bar back and you can possibly get a free punish. There are multiple ways you can get out of tons of situations, not including characters having specific reversals, which is also a plus. Whenever you in a hiccup, yeah, you definitely got ways to get around it, which leads me to the roster of this game. You have 6 playable characters. You got Echo, Ari, Ilaoi, Darius, Braum, and Yasuo. The way they designed these characters, I can tell they put a lot of love and heart to these characters because all of them feel extremely unique and different from one another. And surprisingly enough, for a game being simple as it is, these characters got a lot of layers in depth to them. Now throughout this current build, I mainly use Darius and Echo, and 2XKO, no character really feels generic, which I do like. It makes me want to open my mind to try out different characters other than my usual archetype. And when it comes to specifically Darius and Echo, they fit that standard for me. Like when it comes to Darius, he has very great mid-range normals. His specials are amazing. He's a big body, but he has really good movement and he has really good chip damage and just damage in general. Like he's a powerhouse. He has this 50-50 mix up with his S1 skill where he will pull you back and you either have to block, attempt to jump, because he has a command grab with his, you do the heavy version of the follow-up. You can also convert into supers, combos, and like especially if you want to use the tag function, the assist with the command grab. There's just a lot of different options that you can come up with for a lot of these characters. They can convert into practically anything. If it's a hard knockdown, you throw an assist or super. Even forward grabs in this game, you can use those into supers, and it's a really good feeling. I'm not gonna lie, just doing conversions in this game in general feel really good. And then when it comes to Echo, man, freeform as hell. He's definitely on the technical side. I think from an entry level, he's simple. Like you can pick him up and do like really basic B&B that you can just learn within like the first 10 or 15 minutes. Because man, Echo, as you can see, you see like gameplay from Sonic Fox or any other content creator or competitive player, Echo can go stupid. If the 2XKO deals design more characters to have this much freedom and variety, please keep at it. When it comes down to the duo system, I feel like it's a great way to get people into playing a fighting game because you're playing with somebody rather than against them. Having that partner, making those call outs, those interactions, those team ups, and having that synergy, it's a really great feeling, and you can get a lot of stuff done. Or just having a very trustworthy and dependable teammate can really get you somewhere in this game as a whole. And it just makes the whole process just a lot more fun in my opinion. Next, I want to talk about the learning curve of 2XKO. Do not get me wrong, as someone who doesn't play tag fighters like that, I got my ass handed to for the first few days of this game. But over time, I started building Lego pieces. This is what I call it. Started building up small and work my way up. I found 2 characters that I like the most. I see what work and what can't work. I came up with like simple B&Bs and just basic pressure, just really basic fundamental stuff just to get the things going, because I didn't have to do some insane combo. I just need to make sure I kill you. So getting my hit confirms down, learning how to hit simple confirms in the supers, like I just did that, and slowly get myself to the more advanced and harder stuff with the game, because there are a lot of system mechanics in this game. There are a lot of defensive mechanics. There's a good bit of offensive mechanics when it comes to your tag buttons, and there's like a lot of situations that you have to deal with and just have to really tough out, because again, it's a tag fighter. These games are not meant to be easy. Fundamentally speaking, they're gonna be hard. There's gonna be a bunch of bullshit. Hell, I will even be honest, as a hard take, I don't think tag fighters are balanced. I don't think it's very difficult to balance those type of games, and you just have to learn to just take what you can get and just slowly build your way up. Just like anything else what you do in terms of a skill or anything that you want to learn. But once you get down to it, it's gonna be a smooth process. Lastly, I want to talk about the community critique, or just the feedback that people are pushing out for this game. And the main 3 things that come to mind are the long combos, the difficult control scheme, and just the game's balance overall. I want to share my thoughts on that. When it comes to long combos, I'm going to keep it a stack. Long combos has always been a thing in tag fighters. Mind you, we haven't had them in a long time. Combos are going to be long in tag fighters regardless. There's really not much you can do about it outside of maybe changing certain routes, because it may be just visually seeing certain combos are boring. Or it could be the hit stun of the game. There could be that could also play a role as well. I can see some of it dragging a bit, and again, this is a alpha. A lot of these things can be changed by the time the full game drops. Now, in terms of balancing, yes, there are characters that are clearly stronger than others. Hell, I play Darius. I know what a broken character is. That character is really freaking good. All of that can be changed. As long as the characters still feel good to play, I'm perfectly fine with them changing certain aspects for the balance of the game. Even though this is a tag fighter, and the reality of it, these games can't really be balanced as much, because it's just always just going to be something broken about it. Now, in terms of the control scheme, I don't really know what else they can do. Maybe make a secondary control scheme for the game, or make some adjustments with some of the buttons, but I don't think they want to remove the S1 or S2 button, or just the layout of the game. I think that's just a thing that most people are just going to have to get accustomed to, and just find their little groove, because I'm pretty sure it's weird playing this game on hitbox. Hell, it was weird playing it on a D-pad, so I can only imagine having to find the right macros to set up on a hitbox or leverless. So we'll just have to see, man. So to wrap things up, I really had a fairly decent time with the beta. There are definitely things that need to be polished, tweaked, and just fixed in general. However, that did not take the enjoyment from me liking this game.